Hi, I'd like to go over how the menus work in Cheetah. So what I've got here is a sort of sequence. First of all, let's figure out how you get to a menu. So I've got a blank panel here, and as with everything else, the first step is to go to Add, and then down to Elements. And now we look for menus, and everything's in alphabetical order. Here are menus, and you see there are several to choose from. It's just a design decision. So I'm going to pick this one and drag it onto the panel and work with it from there. I can center it. And let's take a look, because underneath some of these choices are submenus, which you may or may not want. So as with other elements in Cheetah, to make changes, click on the element and a little menu shows up, and you can see over here it says it's a menu for menus, and over here menu. And now the important bit is the fourth item, configure items. Click on that, and we have the labels that we saw for each of the menus. So you may need to change what your choices are stated as, and the way to do that is to go over to the pencil, and here you'll see the label, and you can change it to be about anything, and save. You can also add an icon if you like to have a little something next to it, and there are a lot of icons to choose from. So if you like that idea, or want the icon instead of, or in addition, wow, you can pick one. Save your results, and then the question is, let me comment first on these green arrows, because you might not want your anything button to be right next to your home button, and so you can move it down and down, or up. Let's take a look at another of the choices, because projects, if we click on the edit pencil, you'll notice has 3 submenus, which you can name and include, but if you don't want them, the little trash can will get rid of the submenus. No big deal. Now, what a menu item does is determined when you click on the link. And here you have a lot of choice. Well, the basic choice is, do you want the new thing to happen in the same tab or open in a new tab? Now you have a lot of choices for what happens when you click the button. Web means clicking the button could take your user to an entirely different page on the website, on the internet. It could take them to a different page that you've already created inside your website. Tags are more complicated. A pop-up could show up when they click on that button. Anchors could shoot you down to a particular location on that page. It could be a YouTube or Facebook video and the URL for that. You could also click that button and it could bring you to a file that you can download. Now it says select file, and if you click that, it could bring you, now yours will be blank, but could bring you to files that you have already parked in your file library. And to get to that, you click select file, you choose something, and when you click on it, it will be added to this library. When you click on it and you see it has a blue border, that's the one you've selected. Click Save, and now its title shows up. And when someone clicks on that button in the menu, then this file will immediately download. If you're selling something, you could use the super checkout to jump to the product that you're selling. You get a phone number, there are tags, a rotation banner, plenty of time to get used to those. So here we see clicking on the gear takes you to this area we've been talking about, which lets you select what kind of action you want to occur. And clicking on the pencil lets you change the name of the label and add additional or delete some submenus. Do remember you can't link to a page that you've not yet created. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see there's, again, I'm on the little menu, there are a lot of choices for how things look. General settings include whether you want it to be a vertical menu or go the full width of your screen. There are special effects you can add, although I don't know why you would want to. You can change the color of things. Now I'm choosing a red here, but look down here, the amount of opacity is 0, so that bright red is not going to show up. But if I pull this off to the right, then my background has changed to that bright red. You can also use gradient colors. Play with it. You can have a border. Here's a solid border of whatever color you choose and however thick you might want to make it. That's a bit much. The border can be rounded. Although the individual boxes for your menu items are not rounded. Under Advanced, the last item on the list on the right margin includes sticky header, which means in desktop, if you have a sticky header, this is going to stay at the top of the page no matter how people scroll. So this can be very handy to keep your menu items always available. Or you could have them jump down to whatever anchor point you decide, and more about that later. I hope this is helpful, give you the basics of using menus in Cheetah. Enjoy.